Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for all the reactions. Um, I hope we're all doing good and doing well. It's so good to be here and to be having this conversation with you all this afternoon. And thank you, Lintna, for inviting me and making me part of this. Just a caveat before we start. I am a full-time daddy currently. My 2-year-old, almost 2-year-old, is currently sleeping in the next room, so she can wake up at any time and want to disturb our call. Please, guys, indulge me. All right, good. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, so I'm happy to be here, just like I said earlier, and I'm just going to go right into it. I'm not a big fan of slides. For those that were at the session I did the last time with Lintna, you guys will know that I came with blank slides. It was as if it was almost no slides. I'm also here with just about 7 slides to talk about this very interesting topic. Yeah, thank you, Coco. Thank you very much for that feedback. So this is going to be a very interesting topic. I think it's an interesting topic anyway, and it's an interesting topic that a lot of edtech entrepreneurs, and not just edtech entrepreneurs, really entrepreneurs, young startup founders, people who are just, and when I say young, I don't mean by age, right? They are young startup founders that are 70 years old, by the way. I mean, if you are just coming into startup world, this is something that you want to pay attention to. A lot of people, a lot of startup founders got their fingers burned and had to learn this the hard way. So it's very important that we all learn this, and we build our products with that in mind. Another caveat is that whatever I'm going to share today is not a silver bullet. It's not one formula that you must stick to. It's just a guide, right? In as much as I believe that there are principles, there are processes, there are patterns, there are playbooks that make startups become unicorns. I also think that every business is unique on its own. I believe that every founder is a unique being. And just because we serve people as customers, our businesses interact with people, definitely uniqueness is super important, right? And so what makes company A successful might not be what makes company B successful. Their theories of success might be different from one another. And so that's why I wanted to point it out here, that whatever it is I'm going to share here today, or whatever it is we get to brainstorm together, um don't take it as final. Take it as a guide. If it works for you, fine. If it doesn't, tweak or totally delete it. But I think it's very important that the concept behind whatever it is I'm sharing, everyone gets to understand it, and we're able to follow through with that concept, or with those concepts rather. So let me just quickly share my screen here. Okay, where is it? Okay, found it. Just like I said, I have just 7 slides with very scanty content on it. But of course, it's just really the reason why I use slides really is just so that we can basically have points of emphasis, right? There's something around learning theories that if there's something, probably like an audiovisual content, it helps to buttress whatever it is you're teaching or whatever the students are learning. So if after this session you want to try to remember what I said, you can try to remember through what your brain has captured, through this audiovisual content. And that's why, I really use slides. If not, I'll just like, let's go ahead, right? Please confirm if you can see my screen. I can see my screen here anyway, but please confirm
Yeah,
that
we can see your screen, sir. We can
all
see
right.
your
Yes, we
screen.
can.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, good. So the topic we're talking about today is achieving product market fit and also minimum viable product. So MVP is minimum viable product. PMF is product market fit. And these two concepts really go hand in hand. And as entrepreneurs, we need to understand what that means, right? So it goes really hand in hand, right? Most times, it's in a linear progression, right? In the sense that as an entrepreneur, you want to achieve MVP and then, of course, achieve PMF, right? So MVP is usually your first point of call, and then PMF is your second point of call, right? That okay, yes, we've done MVP, we have a product that makes sense. Now let's take it to the market and confirm that, of course, the market needs that product. So basically, that's the idea behind it. MVP is a product you've created, and then PMF is the fact that market needs this product and market wants this product. And that's the simple idea behind it, right? And as simple as it sounds, that's what has caused the failure of so many businesses, right? And that's why this topic is very, very important, as you build your EdTech product, your EdTech companies. So I'm just going to quickly go into the presentation, right? Sorry. All right, good. So what is a minimum viable product? As we can see here, this definition is called out from, I think, leanmvp.com or so. So it says a minimum viable product, or MVP, is a product with enough features to attract early adopter customers and validate a product idea early in the product development cycle. Now, this is really, it's very interesting because, I mean, like I said, it's very subjective. I've met I have two friends who have built startups that have failed, and one of them actually raised 750K to take this product to market, and the product failed woefully, right? And the product is a powerful product. Before the product failed, I was also building a startup at that time that actually failed, and I was using that product for my startup, right? And it was working fine, working well, right? It helped me solve a lot of problems. But the truth was the fact that they built something that the market was not ready for. It was a great product, functionality 100%, really good, solves problems, integrated payment gateway, everything works well. But the market was not ready for the product, right? And that's what we're going to talk about in product market fit. But there's also the other my other friend, of course, they didn't raise too much. In fact, they bootstrapped to the point where the product failed. And it was really because their MVP was not good, right? They built a product that, it wasn't working, it wasn't really solving the problem. As it was solving, it was creating another problem. And so they had to dump the idea and just moved on, right? And one thing that I saw that was common between the two solutions is the fact that both companies actually built a lot of features to power their product, right? They kept on building. And of course, if you are a software developer here, that temptation is more on you, unlike people that are into business like us, that we just want to get the money in faster. I know for people who have technical backgrounds, people who develop softwares, or people who actually write the codes for the product, they are always very, 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 so much in love with their product that they keep building without thinking about what the user actually needs and the problem they are solving. So they fall in love with the product to the point that they are not able to achieve minimum viable product. Even if they have a lot of features, their buttons are clicking, everything is working well, the design is superb, right? So if you look at this definition very well, it is very clear. It says a minimum viable product is a product with enough features. Enough is a keyword there, right? And when we say enough features, right, it now depends what you define as enough features. What is enough features? What are the things that will make this product work, right? For instance, we have built a tutor matching platform at Schoolinka, right, that we're launching soon. And that tutor matching platform, I mean, there's just a whole lot that you can do on a tutor matching platform. And it's not a new idea, it's not novel. A lot of people are doing tutor matching, by the way, right, using technology. But we are building it to support our existing product because we think it's a value chain that we can explore. Right. And then when we, this platform that we've built, what we have currently right now is a simple platform with a landing page and then a request a tutor button where someone can click on it, access a form, fill the form, submit their request, and on the back end, someone in the team processes that request and then matches them with a tutor. And then, of course, the lesson starts, right? We did not try to say, at first when we had, if you look at our what they call it, PRD, is it product requirement document or product something document that the product manager created, is 20 pages, right? And this 20 pages has a list of features that we want this platform to do, right? We want a dashboard. I don't want to speak that in case our competitor is here anyway, but yeah, we want a platform, we want a dashboard for parents, dashboard for teachers, dashboard for kids, dashboard for everybody, right? Everybody able to sign in, sign up, log in. You can create your classes, you can create calendars for your classes, you can, receive payment, you can create group and community on the platform, and all of these things which are really beautiful, right? But the thing is, for us, because we are very, 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 very in tune with the concept of minimum viable product. By the way, if you are conversant with the lean startup model by Eric Ries, you will know about the MVP model, because the MVP is also part of the lean startup. And of course, all of this as well are also, intertwined with agile product development methodologies, right? So what it means is the fact that, what is it that we have this big idea, this grand idea, this big product that we want to build that we think will transform the world and change and transform education and revolutionize how people think, how people learn, how people grow professionally. However, right? It doesn't matter the big grammar and big English. The minimum viable product is telling you that, now leave those big English, right? Out of all of these things that you have listed, what are the features that you can build right now as a start to test with the market? What are the features that you think if you release right now, it will be able to check if people actually need this product or if you're building the right thing, right? So that is what you now consider as enough features. For some products, your MVP might just be a homepage with an email sign up form, where you have this home pages landing page that talks about your product, and then you have like a space there that says enter your email if you like to know more about the product, or if you like to learn more, or if you like to be a part of our community to know when we launch, right? For some people, that's their MVP. And I'll just like, for instance, and this is a popular story whenever people try to, I think I'll take questions after. Thank you. Yeah, I'll take questions right after. Thank you for raising up your hand. Or if it's a comment, you can type in the chat box if it's really urgent, right? You can type in the chat box, that's fine. So if, right, so we have, so you have like, for example, Dropbox, which is a popular story that is used to illustrate this. Dropbox is a company like your Google Drive, right? You keep your documents and all of this. And when they launched with, oh, no worries, that's fine. So they launched with a landing page where they just had, the form that says, if you're interested, they describe their product, and they had, thousands of signups through that email. Even the product was not ready, right? And with that email backlogs, when their product was ready, they were able to push to people who actually need that product. But what they were able to get with that simple landing page and a form was customer validation that this product is actually needed. Trust me, if your product is not needed, nobody will fill your form, right? Only maybe your friends and family will fill your form to support you. So you can imagine if you just launch that page, you've not invested too many resources in it, and then you just get like 1,000 emails coming. That's to let you know that there's a great need for your product. And with that, you can even use that form to maybe even collect feedback and ask them, okay, for this product, how will you like it? What do you think? What will you be expecting? Or I mean, just ask some questions that will help you generate feedback that will go back into your product building. So the concept of MVP really is to ensure that you're building what people want per time. You're collecting feedback early from people to make sure that what you're building is right. And you're not just doing that, you're also just like, putting your product out there, right? And, gaining some visibility for yourself. And then what it does is that it helps you have, if, you're validated, it helps you have early adopters that you can push your product to when it's ready. And the best part of it is that he gives you opportunity to test your product in a lean startup way, right? In a way that you don't invest so much resources. You're not like that, my friend that raised 750K and everything, went off that way, right? So there is just like, this is really a very good way for, edtech entrepreneurs, most importantly. For instance, I mean, like I used to say, edtech industry is not like other industry, like your fintech industry, where there's a lot of money pumping in, investor money coming in. With edtech, you have to make do what you have. Stay lean as much as possible and ensure that you're not spending a lot of money on, trying to get tools up, building amazing tools, designing great web pages. No, validate first before you move ahead. For instance, Schoolinka, we launched our new platform, and we used to white label LMS solution before, just like Lintna is going to do for a lot of entrepreneurs, people like you as well. We used to do that before at Mastercard. Sorry, I said Mastercard at Schoolinka rather. At Schoolinka, we white label solutions. I've used LMS solutions from maybe two Indian companies. I've used LMS solution from a US company, right? And all of this was to just get user feedback. So instead of me trying to look for money to hire a software developer or hire a team of engineers to build our own platform, like build our own platform and then spend a lot of money and a lot of time in doing that, what I did simply was just find some dollars. It's like about $60 per month. Let me go and buy this LMS, right, and test. And I tested with that LMS, even if it's not giving me the entire flexibility for me to build what I want. I used it and it really worked so well. I got the feedback I wanted, right? And then of course I was able to validate my product idea till when I now said, okay, let them build a full-fledged team to be able to build what we really want to do at Clinical. That was a good way to test, right? Even when we built our platform and launched, right, in January this year, right? What we did was, it was very simple. We had just like a simple LMS, sign up, go into the course straight, very lightweight. And then of course for the job matching as well, build something simple where you can apply to jobs. And from then till now, we've collected feedback and we continue to iterate and build more features, right? It's just once that we've had to go back to cancel a feature we've created before. But because of the fact that we're able to put an MVP out for people to use and test and give us feedback, we've been able to use our resources wisely to build what is really needed. So what MVP does really is for you to really be able to test your idea. And for me, I think that one of the best models of achieving okay, I'm going to answer that question, Bettina. I just keep that question. So one of the great models that I've worked so far in achieving MVP is the design thinking model. And I want to believe that every majority of people here, if not all, knows what design thinking is all about. And if you don't know, we're just going to be working through what design thinking is really, because that's the model I choose for MVP development, right? And the process is here. So we have 5 stages of the design thinking model. And this is a very powerful model, has been proven to work. There are other models, by the way, but this one is very powerful. As simple as it is, super powerful. And the way you see the design thinking model, you can see there are 5 different stages here. You have the empathize stage, the define stage, the ideate stage, the prototype stage, the test stage. So as an EdTech founder that is looking to build an education technology product or is building an education technology product, you can integrate or the design thinking process into your development trajectory or journey. And of course, what you just need to do is to move whatever it is you're doing, or your operations, your tasks, your activities, everything you're doing around building your product through these 5 different stages. And the way these 5 different stages are, it's not linear as it looks like this with the arrow pointing from one to the next, to the next, to the next. No, it can be a looping process until you get what you want, right? It can be something that has to loop back at some point until you get what you want. Because at every stage, what you do is to test validity to ensure that you're on the right track. If you feel like you're not getting it right on one stage, you have to go back. Now, let me just like share a bit more, explain more what these different stages are. I'll ask for anybody on the call who doesn't know what design thinking model is. The first stage is empathize, right? And this is the part where, you learn about your audience. And it's from the root word empathy, by the way. And empathy is a very interesting word that a lot of people have, mixed up with pity. Empathy is not pity. Empathy really is you spending time to learn about the audience that you want to serve, right? Who are these people that have the problem that I am looking to solve as an entrepreneur? Who are these people? Where do they live? Where do they stay? What are their pain points? What are their thoughts about the problem that is that I want to really solve as an EdTech entrepreneur? Am I also part of those people? Am I suffering that problem as well? Or do I have relatives who are, suffering that problem, right? Do I have lived experiences at some point that I want to really connect with? And if I don't have lived experiences, can I connect with people who have these challenges? Most times as EdTech entrepreneurs, the problems we're solving will come from what we have faced by ourselves individually, or what someone who's close to us have failed has faced, right? And the reason why is that for EdTech entrepreneurs is because we work in a space that is driven by impact and purposeful living most times, right? So we want to create impact. We want to live a life of purpose as an EdTech entrepreneur because our work is closely related to impact. And so most times the problems we solve are problems that we ourselves have experienced before. So, but if you've not experienced it before, you can't be an EdTech entrepreneur, or you can't be an entrepreneur and you don't connect with the people who are actually experiencing the problem you're looking to solve. Sometimes it works, right? But most times it fails. You need to be connected because that's when you're able to now go to the next stage, which is define. Define is that point, just like the word implies, definition of the problem is where you sit down to say, okay, now I understand the problem that these people are facing, and this is how I define that problem. So you're able to construct a point of view based on the problems that you've identified that your potential users usually have, right? Or they have. Right. For us at Schoolinka, what we did, when we did this work is the fact that, um, I taught for 2 years in a low income school, in fact, in a public school in Ota, and when I was there in that public school teaching for 2 years full time, it was really, interesting to see, kids in that particular community and in some schools around or who are passing in flying colors, but they're very few. And then you have like a lot of students who are doing worse and doing bad in their academic outcomes. And for me, it was like, okay, what's the difference between this? My classroom, I had challenges. My first year was full of struggle. I entered into my classroom of 64 pupils. 80% of them could not read and write in English language. Big challenge, right? Um, and so, sorry, just a minute, please. Sorry, just like I said, my baby's awake, right? So, but of course, I lived in this, I lived and worked in this community, and I looked at what are the challenges, right? And after I was able to solve the problem for my own classroom, I was able to increase the literacy rate in my classroom in my second year in a very, I don't want to go, that's a separate story entirely, what I did. But I was able to do it. And then I saw that there were few educators like me as well doing stuff similar to mine, or who are going overboard to be able to ensure that their children are achieving higher learning outcomes. And I saw that the flying student passing in flying colors are actually in those classrooms of those kind of educators. And so what I was able to infer from that situation and from learning is the fact that, even if there are limited resources, or let me say no resources, in fact, in in under-resourced schools and low-income primary schools across board, if there is an extraordinary teacher in the classroom, even if classes happen under a tree, magic can still happen and learning outcomes can still be improved. So the single most important factor, not really the single factor, but like one of the most important factors that contributes to student success is the availability of a highly skilled teacher and a teacher who is passionate enough to do the job. And that was how schooling got started, right? So I was able to define the fact that, if like the reason why many children in low income communities are not accessing higher academic outcomes because they have educators who are maybe not passionate about their work, but they are passionate, but they become frustrated because they don't know how to do their job. So there's a difference between knowing what to teach and knowing how to teach it. And so That was the problem point there. And of course, through other research, I got to, see that, the problem of poor teaching quality is a big problem. And that was how I was able to define the problem. That's a problem of teaching quality. Now, or problem of poor teaching quality. No, so and I didn't stop there, right? I had to dig down and dig deeper. Why do we have a problem of poor teaching quality? Now that's where the design thinking process really shines through, because you're able to define the root causes of the problem, because it's not just problem, it's not just the symptoms of the problem you want to solve. I think the perfect and popular analogy is that someone has malaria, right? And the person, or let me say someone has headache, feeling headache, feeling their eyes are paining them and all of this. All these are symptoms of malaria. The person is coughing as well. And so the person wanted to treat him or herself, and the person says, okay, because I'm coughing, let me get coughlin or cough syrup. That's an error, because one, you're treating cough when you actually have malaria that is causing the cough. So if you use that, and then of course the malaria is still there, you've not killed the malaria parasite. And so most times as founders, we tend to stop at the symptom of the problem. So the symptom of the problem for me, I could have stopped at the fact where I say, okay, teachers are not, or let me say pupils are not passing well. Let me start doing special lesson for pupils.